Well,
Do we start with just that? Just a.
Oh, that was a good.
All right.
That's the start.
We in good shape.
That's
we in
it.
good shape.
That is it exactly.
Dang, we're peaking seriously.
Yeah.
Let me turn this down a little bit. All right, cool.
There you go.
I can normalize that too.
Okay.
In post,
Gotcha.
as a professional say.
Right. Well, you are a professional.
I think I'm more like a semi-pro. I feel like I'm a.
You get paid for it.
I do get paid for it.
You're a professional.
But I feel like I'm more like a Philip Lindsay, like how he bounces from the league to the XFL.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I'd say I'm a good like B plus.
Yikes.
You're good. I give myself like a B plus on a regular day.
Nah.
And then sometimes like I
the modesty's good.
Yeah.
Modesty's good.
My ceiling is A minus.
All right.
And my floor is B minus. So
Okay. That's
we
good.
can at least have that.
I like that.
We can at least have that.
I can rock with that.
Yeah.
So with that said,
Yeah.
to my right is 98, also known as Mr. Pretty Beard.
I didn't know that was one of
You
them.
know what I mean? When the fade is tight, he goes from, Mr. Can I please get a haircut to
Yeah. I would say.
But no, Avery, man, a guy who needs no introduction.
Thank you, man.
98.
Thank you. To my left, 74, the one and only, my barber, my reverend, my pastor, spiritual guide, my therapist in some cases, sometimes my client.
Yes.
Just a legend in the game, still a young man. My pops, Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we admit the last name because we gotta remain. People can look us up. We're Google.
That's true.
But I am gonna bleep that out.
All right.
Similar to the way I'm gonna bleep out. Bruh. I'm definitely gonna say it.
I think it's relative. I think
unfortunately.
it's relative, and it is needed to actually delineate between a black person and a
They're two different things.
It's Venus and Mars.
Yeah, but given the
Book idea.
oh wow,
Black people are from Venus, they're from Mars.
I mean, it's kind of genius actually. I think it'll work.
And then we'll have a spinoff, like, the whole walk like a man, talk like a man. It's just like, no. It's just
Steve
like,
Harvey.
See, we can have a spinoff
Yeah.
to where it's just like, no.
Multiple movies.
Act like a black man.
Wow.
Don't act like a nincompoop, right?
Dang, that's genius. This has been 5 years in the making, like legitimately.
Yes.
Maybe longer.
I would have to say probably longer because the ideas have bounced around so much. They've bounced around with different ideas with different cats that I know, even with you or whatever, and, trying to come up with the right ideas. But I think to get
It was the first one, I think.
Yeah,
was
to
like
get
the
the
first
rawest,
idea.
but to get the rawest form, I think this is the best way.
Yeah.
Really. Conversationally, and then obviously a generational, kind of a father and son type of breakdown.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But the zenith, the reason why this is actually coming to fruition now, this is the roughest of rough drafts. The setup is as DIY as it can get, but like definitively us as well. Like it's like perfect for that.
Facts.
But yeah, on a serious note, the reason why I really wanted to like actually do this is because like kind of a scary moment.
Right.
Trip a couple weeks back, mom calling me. It's on a Monday. It was a Monday.
Definitely.
And like the last call you want to get of like, your pop's like potentially not being okay.
Right.
And she held it together. She like applause for mom 100%. Like
that's who she is.
Yeah.
She's the one.
Yeah, for real. And so holding it together, but like just hearing that, I was like, dang, all of the what ifs just rushed in my head, and all of the almost and all of the opportunities we, in this case, in my mind at the time, could have done.
Right.
Because I had no idea what was going on.
Right.
No one knew what was going on, really.
Right. True.
And so all of those what ifs and, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, like all popped in my head, and I was like, all right, no, like we actually need to do something. And it's like, because we talk about it every single time. You give me a haircut.
We're literally a whiteboard of
all of the different ideas.
What we have,
all of the free associating sessions and stuff like that. And so like, just to have the opportunity to sit down and actually do it and actually produce it and doing it for us, for the sake of like knowing that this is something that we wanted to do.
Right.
I don't care who else has a father-son podcast. I don't care if it's a celebrity. I don't care if it's an athlete. Whoever is doing whatever they're doing. Right. This is something we had planned on doing anyway.
Right.
If we get just the 2 views of me and you looking at it,
so be it.
Or if we get 200,000, we finally get a brand deal with Trader Joe's.
Swedish fish.
I'm a Scandinavian swimmer, bro.
Scandinavian.
Put some respect on it.
Yo, I'm sorry.
Put some respect on it, dog.
See, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, but Trader
and
Joe's,
with that,
you see I'm rocking with you. So, whatever we need to do to make a deal, let's make that happen. But you were about to say.
But with that, that's something that I want to even put in our purview of the conversation, right? Who else has, right? And you know me, I'm not a fanboy of things. You know, I mean, I like things and that kind of stuff.
It's hard for you to be a fan of things, though.
No, it's hard to be a fan, but I was going to go into this. No, not shooting at no man, right? Or what they've accomplished in their life.
Yeah.
But the relevance of a father and son, generationally anyway, should be applauded no matter what. You'll never know my name. You'll never know really what I do, and does my job matter, and am I touching people's lives, and do I entertain you? Great if I do, but the fact is, I'm the star within my family, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So when you start putting those things down and you put that into a perspective, and I don't mean like everybody looks up to me. No, I realize the fruition of this, of the conversation that we're having, right, is important to you to say, nah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what people do, right? Mom, watching her, go into action, that's my guy, right?
Yeah,
and y'all know me. You know how how I get down with y'all. But with that in mind, when you say that, it's like we don't care who has what, and we don't, but because we understand that we don't need to be in name and lights to be who we are, right? And our perspective, as everybody else thinks everybody else's is, it matters too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, that was just kind of my little where it's like, yeah, that's great. And I haven't listened to any, and I'm sure that there's plenty out there, but I just believe that, we know who we are and what we've come to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? We know where we've come from to be sitting where we're sitting now, and feel like we actually, we got the testicular fortitude to sit here and do it with anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
Exactly. That's bars, man. That's bars. So, kicking off, I'm thinking let's jump straight into it. Let's do some starting fives.
Let's do it.
The concept here is having, you're the coach.
Okay.
You're setting up your lineup.
All right.
So from point guard to center, however you run a small ball, you run a big ball, whatever. We're going to do a starting five of top, let's see, 90s rappers.
All right.
Who's on your starting five? Who's running point for you?
Ooh. Okay. Who's running point? For me, running point would be a Pac.
Yeah. What kind of player is he? What kind of player is he? I feel like he's
it's a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of duality.
Yeah.
Because as a point, right, you got to be able to be quick, you got to be able to facilitate, you got to be able to see, you got to be able to, there's so many facets to a point, right? You know what I mean? You got to be able, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like, to me, 90s rap, it would actually be Pac, would be just because of the duality that he has. The schizophrenia that was there. Yeah, because clearly. As a point, you know what I mean? You take it all on you. You know what I mean? Like, it's my fault. Yeah. Kind of thing. Yeah. Because you're the general. Yeah. Right? You're the person that has to run the floor. You got to set it up. Everything goes through. So that would be my point.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely 100% Russ. Like 2017.
You can see that.
Yeah. 2017 Russ, MVP. Yeah. Just like. Yeah. Just so much energy. Right. But also very angry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
It adds up. It adds up.
You know what I mean?
17.
And then it's like the weight is on my shoulders, but at the same time, I really don't give a rip what you think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll spit at you. I'll cuss at you. I'll come into the, the audience's lounge to cuss you out because you were being disrespectful, dude. Right?
Yeah.
That's the reason why. So again, top 5.
That's facts.
That Pac would be the point.
Yeah, Pac's running point for you. I feel that. I'm gonna go with Cube as my point.
I like that.
Yeah.
I gotta jump on this real quick.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How long do you think?
Give me 20 minutes.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna make sure the camera was straight too. Running point for me, I'm going with Cube.
I can see that.
Yep. I'm going with Cube as my point. You know, the pin. I feel like the pin game matches the facilitation that a point guard would have.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to think of the player comparison as to what Cube would be. Because it's like aggression, like beefs here and there, but nothing like too crazy. It was never like gun talk or nothing like with any of his beefs. Yeah. But I don't know. What comes to mind, and it may not be accurate, is Chris Paul. Like that playing style where it's like aggressive, pretty gritty. He's not annoying though. Chris Paul's kind of annoying. Like Cube never. Yeah.
He seems like he's kind of a cut dude. He just kind of just lane, stays in his lane.
So I'm trying to maybe even even though it's an East Coast comparison, I think it'd be like John Starks or somebody like that. I think that might actually,
you know what? That would probably be the best one.
Yeah,
that probably would be the best one. I can see that.
Yeah. I think that would be the comparison there. So running my point, I got Cube.
Okay,
so
got you.
O'Shea.
Yes. Well, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's your 2? Who's gonna be your shooting guard? So this is
shooting guard, man.
This is who's gonna be getting most of the buckets for you.
Ooh.
Receivably. Sorry for the noise.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
You want one?
No, I'm good. Man, this is the person who's just going, that's just gonna kind of act up, right? Mm-hmm. Ooh, 90s. Gotta be 40. Gotta be 40 water. Yeah.
Really? As your 2?
As my 2.
Not as like a power forward or a center? I'm just going off of his body type.
Well, I'm not. I don't even know if I'm going off a body type, because if I'm going off a body type, you know what I mean. The funniest thing is, it's still within his clique. It's either be legit or sell, and most people see those are deep cuts that most people wouldn't understand, right?
I'm not familiar.
So that's the funny part, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're talking 90s, right? Mm-hmm. That whole Bay Area thing in the 90s was crazy. Yeah. Right? LA had its thing, you know what I mean? I could say Snoop, but he wasn't really one of my kind of, he wouldn't make my top 5, you know what I mean? Okay. But I understand.
The starting 5 isn't top 5, mind you.
Yeah, just my starting.
This is just the squad.
Yeah, just the squad. Just the squad is that I'm picking. But no, I would have to say, man, it would still be in that whole, that whole family would be, either be legit, and because be legit, tall dude, and 40's tall too, though. I mean, he's a 6-footer. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah. But the style, right, is that dude, because he can handle. He's a wordsmith, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And most people wouldn't say he would be, right? But to me, again, it's mine, not yours.
A lot of
just the way the way he can just handle the mic, like you know what I mean, and making up his own. They had their own lingo, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't just the Bay. It was like, dude started some of that stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was literally
the cultural lexicon. Like 50% of it is him.
Exactly.
Like legitimately.
Legit.
Yeah. Okay. What player would be that comparison? I have no clue who that would be similar to.
Man, you know what? It would probably be somebody like a Larry Johnson.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he is a power forward though.
Yeah.
So I think 40 might have. I'm gonna force him into being your power forward.
Which you know what? Which is perfectly fine. Yeah. Which is perfectly fine. But it could literally be.
Like Larry Johnson makes sense though.
Yeah.
That's the perfect comparison.
Yeah.
I think that's very accurate. Who's my bucket getter though? My 2 guard. Shoot, that might be hard. I might have to skip around positions. Dang. All right, I have Cupid at the 1. My 2. I might do a super random one.
Okay.
This is a similar deep cut.
Right.
I'm going with Fat Lip as my 2 from the Far Side.
Interesting.
Yes, it's an interesting choice.
Okay,
it's an unorthodox choice.
But I know for a fact that you're going to vet it out. So
yes, because the thing about the Far Side, just as a group, but like Fat Lip being probably the most well known out of the clique, is just like he's so reliable. I feel like he just was like, I
see that.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good 16 from Fat Lip.
Right.
Like we know that 100%. Right. And he's gonna get a sneaky like 30 points.
Yeah, and you look up and go. You look at the stats and be, he had 30.
Yeah, like real sneaky, and it's like he's in a lot of rappers' top 10s. I think like he's one of the favorite rapper type dude.
I can see that. I can see that.
And so like a comparison, I feel like maybe Fat Lip's my 3. Okay, instead of a 2, I'll skip the 2 guard for now. Right. Fat Lip's my 3. The comparison there is Kawhi Leonard, 100%.
I can see that
because it's like
quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet buckets.
Yeah.
Just
quiet buckets. And it's just like, man, like, dang, I didn't know he was really spitting like this.
Right.
Like,
right.
So I think Fat Lip's my 3. I'll come back to the 2. That one might be difficult because you don't have a 2 still because E40 is not your 2 guard.
All right.
There's no way.
All right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right. Who you got next?
It would have to be Quick.
That makes sense. That's your 2 guard. That's your.
Quick is 2.
That's your shooting guard, 100%.
Yeah. Quick is 2. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So 40 is a 3. Quick is a 2. Quick would definitely be the 2 because, everything is super clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything to me is super clean. It's hella creative.
Yeah.
It's gonna come up with something out of nothing. You know what I mean? When all else breaks down, you're gonna get you're gonna get that hotness. You know what I mean? And it sounded weird saying hotness, but you gonna get some fire from Quick.
Yeah.
So Quick will be my 2.
Yeah.
There you go.
That makes
so
sense.
Pac at the 1, 40 at the, or Quick at the 2.
Yeah.
40 at the 3.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good 3 so far. 40. I have them. I know. Well, okay. You said Larry Johnson.
And who would Quick be? Quick would probably be. Man, who would that be? And man, like I don't know, man. Like what's my man's name? Jamal Crawford.
Ooh, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Kind of a Jamal Crawford.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Smooth.
Watch me work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're out of position. Watch me work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's accurate. This is gearing up to be an interesting 5.
It actually is, and I'm sitting here going without never having this kind of. We've had conversations, but this is kind of getting some legs here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, my 3. Shoot, I might have to jump around like you did and come back to. Oh wait, no, my 3 is Fat Lip. I'm gonna come back to the 2. I think that one's just gonna be difficult to. That one's gonna be hard to come back to.
Right.
But I would say Quick though. I would have to. I think I'm gonna borrow your Quick as my 2 as well. That makes the most sense. Jamal Crawford, I loved as that comparison.
Right.
I would also say a T-Mac. I feel like he could be.
Yes.
He could be that as well.
Yeah.
Mainly like from the production side, just like how many projects he had his hand in.
Right.
And T-Mac is kind of slept on, like
very much so.
Yeah, in terms of like people's Hall of Fame. Did he make it? Is he in the Hall of Fame or not?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if he is.
We would have to check.
Yeah, but like relatively underrated, but also like the people that know and respect him are like, nah, this dude's the truth. So So I think I would say that's my comparison there. I have to have Quick on that because like, I mean, that's a good. You know what? Actually, no. I'll stay on the track that I'm on right now.
I got you.
But yeah, a majority of the music, like, especially from that era that you bumped, at least it was Quick. Like,
oh yeah,
a good like 70%.
Oh yeah.
And I still listen to it now.
80 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely versatile and just like straight talent, like generational
Oh man,
talent.
come on,
Genius.
Oh yeah, music.
Yeah.
I mean, artist.
Yeah,
musician.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Dude is that he's that guy. So
yeah,
quick is the name.
All right, most definitely. So okay, you have 1 through 3.
Okay.
So who are the big men? Who's holding down the muscle? And they don't necessarily have to be big people.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, man, my 4, Face.
Oh, that
Gotta
makes
go
so
with
much
Scarface.
sense.
Gotta go with
I didn't
Scarface.
even think about Face. That's a perfect 4.
Gotta go
That's
with
literally
Scarface.
the perfect 4.
Oh, absolutely.
Dang.
Absolutely. Gotta go with
That's
Scarface.
a good one.
Yep.
That's a really good one.
Gotta go with Face.
Oh man. And there's a lot of options.
Oh, there's a lot of
to go
scrap.
with that.
There's so much scrap in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can choose just off the top of my head, you know what I mean, somebody like a, Zebo. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can just start just grabbing people that are just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Face was that. That's who Face is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
I
kind
dig
of where I
that.
go. Yeah.
Dang, we're like pulling deep cuts with the league too. Like this is cool. This is really cool.
Right. Who else though? There's got to be one more that was just nasty with it, and he would be, from back in the day that was just scrappy, even because Face could, because again you go from the old school, even like a Ron Artest to where it was just kind of like just real,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, a Dennis Rodman even, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, somebody who's
Yeah.
just like reliable. They gon' be down with the squad. They gon'
Loyal.
they gon' knuckle up.
Yeah.
They loyal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I don't know Scarface, but by the music and just by where you can kind of see the persona of people, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I dig that one. A lot. That's dang, you're really like, because now you're mentioning artists, I'm like, oh, that would make sense for me too. But you might have to close it out and just find your center, and then I'll just have to find out who my 4 and 5 are.
Right.
Because
My center, he's a real life center, Shaq.
having Shaq Fu at the 5.
I'm kidding.
Oh man!
Shout out
That's
Shaq.
hilarious.
Shout out to Shaq as a rapper in the '90s.
You
man.
know, he held his own though.
Hey, he was better than a lot.
Yeah,
He was better than most.
He was kind of nice.
He
And
was
it was
kinda
like
nice.
the perfect gimmick.
Nah,
too.
man, I got to go back to the West Coast, man. I mean, it's like, again, a feeling, you know what I mean? And it was just like where I was, right, mentally. But again, another big dude, well, he's not tall at all, but Mac 10.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So
That's good. West Side Connection. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's
Dang, that makes sense. That's a
Yeah.
good 5.
yeah.
That's a good 5.
Yeah, so that's my, if I had to go 90s,
That's a good 5.
and I'm getting on the getting on the plane, you know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
getting on the G5, we about to go play. That's
Yeah.
that's who's sitting in the seats with me. That's who's
That's not bad.
we hit and play, and that's my rotation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're gonna get some Pac, you're gonna get some 40, you're gonna get some Quick, you're gonna get some Space, and you're gonna get Mac 10.
That's very West. Very West. The only one that's not
Yeah.
from California being faced.
Yeah.
Wow. Now back to me with just my eclectic group. Man.
But if you had to pull a couple of, you got 3,
Yeah.
right? Grab something from 2000 then.
Yeah, I might have to. I have to, and I'll move the rotation up a little bit. So 3K is going to be at the 2 now.
Okay.
Quick is going to be my 3.
Okay.
Fat Lip is still my 4.
All right, bet.
And, I mean, with Dre, I feel like his like artsiness is 100. Like just the way he sees the world, I see as like Kyrie Irving at the 2. Like that's like that is his very unorthodox approach.
Yes,
but like
yes.
super.
That actually
artistic.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That
like
actually makes a lot of sense.
just regardless of how eccentric it is, you have to respect it. And
That makes a
like
lot of
he's
sense.
revered. Like obviously Andre 3000 is revered, but Kyrie is revered too.
He
like
is too,
among
yeah.
like the real like hooper circles, like
Yeah.
it's like that dude is
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he's legit.
Yeah. Well,
And
you look
it
at
is
you
liable
look at
to
what the
disappear.
world. Well, you look. He's seldom seen.
Yeah.
That's his nickname. Seldom seen.
Yeah, for
You know
real.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think you also have to look at the world renowned part of it, right? Kyrie is extremely popular, overseas. You know what I mean? So is 3 Stacks, right? So
Yeah.
you got to look at that. So that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
So now I have that. I have my 1 through 4.
I like it.
And now holding it down at the center. It's like, I think it's just for the sake of completing the list at this point.
Who's eating glass?
Who is eating glass? I feel like at this point it's just to complete the list, but it would be Method Man, even though I'm not the biggest Wu-Tang fan.
Okay though.
I feel like it just makes sense. Like he's just.
And again, 90s. You can still pull that into.
Yeah, exactly.
You still pull that into the 90s. No, man, no.
Oh no, 100%. Like
no, Tikal, yes. Yeah.
Either him or Busta Rhymes.
I can see either one of those.
Him or Busta, and it would be, in Busta's case, it would be like a Rodman type 5.
Yes.
And then in Meth's case, I'm thinking it would be like a Rasheed Wallace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah. That makes sense.
Finally got to the list. I was like, dang, what have I listened to? I just completely went blank. But
and you're gonna have all kind of stuff next time.
I know.
Oh, here's my top 5.
As soon as I get in the car. But hey, that's for the next episode.
That's how we do it.
But we'll do 2000s truly next time. Because then I'll have everything.
Yeah.
I'll be ready for it. But yeah. So you also wanted to have some serious notes and stuff like that. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking of dropping gems for these young niggas?
These young brothers.
Yeah.
No, man. I just think generationally, we have to, looking at all of the duality of even just bringing in the whole top 5 stuff from the way that we saw music change from the 80s to the 90s to where we are now, even, right? And I think part of the narrative of the way I like the way the 90s was is because there was a big change and a big shift in music, as well as music goes, so does culture, right? Because basketball changed, right? Yeah. Football changed. You know what I mean? The way people approach their profession changed. Yeah. You know what I mean? So from all the way. I mean, you can start naming players that you could tell what they were listening to by the way that they played, by the way they lived their life, by the way. Yeah. And some of these artists actually took on the personas, right? You know what I mean? Again, Pac, the duality. It's just like, dude, you took on a persona that wasn't yours.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, his life and his legacy show that, right?
Yeah.
As it pertains to myself, there were a lot of decisions made that were, obviously not detrimental to the point where I wouldn't be here, right? Never been under lock and key. Had some close calls, with my lights. You know what I mean? But as far as that goes, just the reactionary piece, right? You have people who think, and you have people who react, and I think that's where I wanted to kind of segue into that, to where it's like we as men. And I say men, period. Of course, black men, but we as men, period. I don't care what you are. You gotta think. You know what I mean? Instead of reacting all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel that.
And there's a lot of people who react, and we're even in the time where we are now, to where I kind of harken back to the 90s to where we are now. You know what I mean? Because we had a lot of things that happened in the 90s that we didn't think through. We reacted. Where we are now, and then we had that early, from 2000 to, and speaking of music, right? It was back kind of to the party a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where it was just like we got along. You know what I mean? The races of people got along, right?
Yeah.
And now we're back to reacting to everything. You can't say this. You can't say that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. Cancel culture. Still don't get it. I'm sitting here going, that people are apologizing for things that they did in the 80s, the 90s, that you now have to apologize for something. So I think the reacting piece, to where I'm just like, how we run our household. You know what I mean? You growing up in this home and now running your own home, obviously, shout out to my man. Marriage coming very soon. This guy.
Yeah. Big things.
What I mean?
Big things.
Big things. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to Triple M, you know what I mean? Yeah. So with that, but again, it's like one of the sayings that I had, in the house with everybody, right? When I panic, you panic. When you see me panic, I need y'all act up. Yeah. You didn't see me panic very often.
No.
You know what I mean? Now again, I would go away from y'all and literally, God, please, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that was the thing, and it was just like I knew, because it was like coming out of the 90s and becoming a dad and a husband and those kind of things, you literally had to stop reacting. You had to think. And, you know, and I think that's where we are now. And I think there's that piece of black people versus brothers. You know, it's like we got to stop, you know, but that's with everybody. We got to start thinking and stop reacting.
Yeah.
Reacting puts you into, you know, somebody be in charge of when you get up, when you go to sleep, you know what I mean? Or you literally, you know, brothers putting each other to sleep. You know what I mean? Because they're reacting and they're not thinking. So for me, that's the
that's
the music the music segue that, you know, we had the 90s where people just was reacting, and then all that stuff stopped. Paradigm change, partying again, we good. Now here we are in 2023 and everybody's reacting again. Yeah. People are losing it, and mental health, and, you know, that's a different
definitely another topic for another day. But do you feel like in any case that it's like necessary to have, and mind you, like I'm only doing this just to hear more about what you think about it, because I'm definitely a faithful cynic. Like I'm not the one to react, but like I can understand when people do. So do you think that there's like a time and place for that? Or
there's always a time and place to react.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Think, then react. We're just in reaction mode.
Yeah.
Where it's just like if I were to say certain buzzwords in what we're talking about right now, it would inevitably be a comment, you can't say that.
Yeah.
You didn't think, you reacted. You just heard one word and you threw the entire baby out with the bathwater and didn't want to hear anything else that person had to say.
That's facts. Right? It just like invalidates everything that you said.
Yeah. And it's just like, and to me, throwing away a human being because of their thoughts is the worst possible thing that you can do, because you don't know what's behind their sockets.
Yeah.
You don't know what they had to walk through to get there.
That's very true.
You have no clue.
That's
right?
very true. Yeah.
So listen, think, then react. But there is an opportunity to react to everything. But the part that I'm talking about the most is literally the, you know, get rid of that person. We don't want, I mean, because if people could actually have an eject button off the earth, there would be people in the sky as we speak. People would be, they would be sending people off this earth right now if they could do it.
They'd be pressing it. Yeah.
And that in itself, you got to be careful, because who's going to be the last person?
Yeah. And who's going to eject you? Like, you got to think about that.
Bingo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got to let people live and do what they do. You know what I mean? You got to let people live and let people literally evolve. I mean, I think that's the only thing.
Let people learn,
To me, that's evolution. You know what I mean? I don't, you know what we believe. You know what I mean? You know, it's God and God alone, faith in Christ. You know, we know who we are.
Yeah.
But to me, evolution does exist. And the evolution of a man, because I've evolved.
Yeah.
My thinking has evolved.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know what I mean?
That's facts. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What questions would you have for like the younger generation? Because I feel like in intergenerational dialogues, there's always like, oh, but y'all don't get ...
Right.
Regardless of the side, you know, and it could be even as, you know, benign as the conversation of music, and it's like, oh no, but or y'all didn't know that so and so was recording in the garage, you know, using the whatever.
Yeah,
and so like,
baloney every day. And,
then and even like the Jordan LeBron conversations and all of that stuff, all of that. But in terms of like the old head, young kid conversation, what do you think? What questions would you ask to bridge that gap?
Why are you?
Come on, man.
No. It would it would have to be like, why are you so emotional?
Okay.
Why are you so emotional?
What's got you so upset?
What's got you? Yeah. And what can fix it?
Okay.
So it would be, why are you so emotional? And then the other thing was like, can this be fixed? Because you get with a lot of younger generation people, and they're just like, there is no fix. Just leave me alone and let me just bounce off these walls, where it's like, that's detrimental to you, if it was only detrimental to you, we leave you alone. But you're going to hurt somebody else. Right. Yeah. That's where it would be. But yeah, why so emotional? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then can we fix this?
Yeah.
And that would be. And to be perfectly honest, that's a generational question too, because I know a lot of cats that are my age that I'm like, why are you so emotional, bro? Like, yeah. And I mean, I can be an emotional, I can too, right? Yeah. But like I said, that's part of my evolution as well, to where it's just like that. It's like I want the younger generation to even understand that it's just like you can come out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's also some affirmations, because I can ask a lot of questions, because in a lot of those questions, to many of them would be rhetorical, and I know they would be to a lot of people. But my biggest thing is like, how can you fix it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be the great question for me. How do you fix this? Because I feel like just, the age that I am, I've learned a lot, and I've had some great mentors. And I think that's something that a lot of these younger people need. I mean, again, you would be a great mentor. Your brothers would be great mentors. These young women, my God, your mom is a sea of information, as well as wisdom, and you know what I mean, and femininity, to the degree where people need that right now. So it's like, so the question would be, can we fix this? You know what I mean? Can you fix this?
Yeah.
And then give them the tools.
Yeah.
That would be the next biggest thing. I would give them the tools, because we do have them. We do have them. You know what I mean? And again, I know people will find this odd of me saying this. I wouldn't start with my faith, right? Because I know that's where my evolution started. You know what I mean? But I had to unlearn my faith to actually understand it.
Yeah, in order to apply
it, to understand, who Christ was, who he is, right? And how it fits into my life. And you can't just start, like you actually taught me this. You can't start in the middle of the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being the journalist that you are, being the head that you have, it's like you can't start in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to confuse people, right? Because you got all the characters have been introduced, the plot has been introduced, the problems have been introduced, the protagonists have been introduced, everything is in the middle.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I can go to the end, but it's just like, that would have made sense. I would have liked that person better had I known their story.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Context
matters, and that's something that you always say. Context matters. So because you would be like, no, why that?
Yeah.
Your questions, what happened? Tell me what happened, so I can draw my own conclusion. But can we fix this? So for me, it wouldn't be the start of the faith. It would be, how did you get to this point? Once I know where you got here, man, we can help you get to the end of that.
Yeah.
We can definitely help young men, black, white, Asian. It doesn't matter what you are. You know what I mean? There's something that's in you that can be touched by, another human being who's had that experience.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that, man. Yeah, because I think...
What would you say? What would you say to this generation, since you're closest to it?
To my own generation?
To your own generation, and the one that's behind you, more so. Yeah. Because your... what you're doing and what you're embarking on, your expertise in what you do every single day, your creativity, a lot of those kids don't have that. So how would you actually foster and be able to do the whole thing that, like, again, I'm standing on the shoulders of someone, you're standing on mine.
Yeah.
How do you get someone to get on yours?
Dang. Yeah. I think it just starts with just one thing that you enjoy. Like, it just starts with enjoyment. Like, whatever it is that you have some sort of passion about, that isn't tethered to the internet. I think, like, that's...
Yes.
I think that's, like, the one thing. Ironically, like, obviously, almost everything I do is internet-based. But I think the core of it is conversation. So that's not something that's tethered by the internet. The core of it is asking questions and being inquisitive and, like, learning. Like, that's the core of what my passion is.
Sure.
And whatever avenue it is, if the internet happens to be the avenue in which I, do my job, do my work, then, like, sure, yeah. But I would just say, like, find whatever it is that you love and find out why you love it, get a understanding of why you want to do what you want to do,
right,
and then go from there. Then like, I think the hardest part is that like I'm still trying to figure a lot of this out too, because I'm like, you know, because everybody always thinks about, you know, the revenue stream. How is this going to support me?
Right.
How am I going to make money off of it? Long story short, and like I don't really have that at all. I just kind of like made my way through, went to college, did all those things, but I think the most important part is just having an understanding of why you're the way you are, and not letting anyone else push you off of that, and then going from there. Like if you have, you know, if you wonder why, like there are some things, like why do I feel this way? Why am I aggressive in these certain things? Like obviously those are questions that therapists can answer. Like those are not things that I think I'm qualified to discuss, but a lot of that can be tied back to like your family too. Like getting to know at least one elder in your family can inform a lot of things too.
That's huge.
And if you don't really have that, then that's unfortunate. Like I think it's really sad, because I'm incredibly blessed to see, you know, 2, 3 generations above me.
Yep.
So I obviously have you. I have, you know, grandparents, and then I got to interact with your great grandparents.
You did,
and that was amazing to just like be it like I was like 8, they were 80 something. You know, it wasn't it wasn't a lot of like in depth interaction. It wasn't. I wish I had the ability and the cognition to be like, what were the 20s like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it like being, you know, a generation off of slavery and stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like those are the kind of that's what they were dealing with, you know.
And those are the elders that I got to interact with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My grandmother, my grandmother's sister, and you know, is like another one of her aunties. To see that, to see the wisdom in somebody's face. Yeah. These kids don't see that.
Yeah.
They don't get to see wisdom in somebody's face. I saw old people that you saw it. It was just like, I see
like
pain.
Every single wrinkle is a story.
As I can see pain in your face.
Yeah.
Tell me what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And my grandmother would tell us that too, as well as my mom. So But yeah.
So yeah, just be a good listener, I think, and not like just listening to like just doing what you're told, because in some cases people are giving bad advice. So like some things you have to not listen to. But but overall, to answer the question directly, not in a roundabout fashion, get to know yourself and get to know somebody that loves you. Get to know an older person that cares about you. Right. You know, because they're gonna have some sort of insight that you don't have yet.
Right. Mentorship is huge.
Yeah, and you're gonna have insight to yourself. Like, pay attention to the things that bother you. Pay attention to
it.
Yeah. Grow that discernment. You know, the things that it's like, my tummy ain't feeling right about this. You know, pay attention to that. Listen to those things. Listen to your body. Be a good steward of not only where you live, but you know who you live with every single day. Being yourself. You know, be a good steward of yourself. And those are some of the things that I would even tell myself. Like, dude, it's okay to like. And you know, the thing is, I will say I was pretty good at like not doing things I didn't want to do. So so I don't know if I would be like, oh yeah, okay, dude, like, I already don't do things I don't want to do. But, you know, the younger version of myself, you know, the 13 through 16-year-old Avery that felt like he was missing out on things. Like, bro, FOMO does not exist. Get rid of that as soon as possible.
Facts.
And, you know, have people miss you when you're chilling at home or something. Like, give them FOMO, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be, you know, stewing over something that you missed, and then you end up going to the function and you're like, what the heck? Why am I here?
Why am I here?
What's the use? I got my car towed. Like, stuff like that. And it's like, dang, I'm not gonna get that $250 back. You know? This is real pain, man.
Yes. You know, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
So
what do you think? I mean, again, this is going to be a kind of another kind of a deep question, so to speak. But do you see hope? I know you see hope, but what do you see a hope for in actually being able to reach them, because everything is the internet? I mean, how do you actually how do you dig through? Let me narrow the question. How do you dig through the current culture?
Yeah, it's just so much going on. It's so multifaceted.
Because you see a lot more than I do. You know what I mean? I mean, I see stuff on Instagram. I mean, again, shameless plug, being a business owner, Tactical Make Practical.
Yes, give the follow. Give the follow.
You know, so shameless plug. But being on some of the interest and learning even how to use it to actually get traffic. Mm-hmm. Some of these people don't need. They don't need traffic. They actually need some red lights at this point. You know what I mean? There's so much coming at people 1,000 miles an hour. And funny little segue. I haven't seen any of it, but I've seen enough little stories about people that there were video cameras, and this whole Freaknik thing has got people freaking out, literally.
Oh, yeah.
That it was just like, I thought some of that stuff was kind of like some memes, but they're literally like pastors and some like people who are like in city governments that are literally kind of like, if you have a video of me, please, right? So again, in this day and time when everybody has a camera in their hand, I mean, it's weird, and I'm glad I didn't. You know what I mean? There's not going to be any footage of me anywhere doing, you know, anything that I would have to be explaining to my wife of 26 years, like, yeah, we was at that party, but
it wasn't me.
That wasn't me. Yeah, man, Shaggy.
You gotta put a Shaggy.
Come on, man.
Which, like, quick non sequitur, like, bro legit said she caught him red-handed. It was recorded. Did he not say it was recorded? Like,
they even got you on camera.
Yes, they
got me on camera, and he said it wasn't me.
Like, bro, how bold do you have to be to just like?
Yeah, and that's a throwback to that's a throwback to, you know, to Raw, Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? It was just like, I saw you right in your face. It was like, I saw you in the bed. Wasn't me.
Yeah, like how.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like keeping the light alive is a lot.
That is like the ultimate gaslighting. Like, that's like the gaslighter's anthem.
Dude, and that's so funny.
Even know that.
Y'all told us what gaslighting was. And I'm sitting here going, and it took us a minute like, oh,
that's what it means.
And now mom won't stop. I'm just like, oh, why is she gaslighting her? And I'd be like, why are you using those terms?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
No, but for real. Dang, Shaggy straight up was like just gaslighter to no end.
Yeah.
But
for these kids,
roundabout, answer your question. Oh man. And I also have an answer to a question that wasn't asked, but something I'm thinking about. But we can jump to that in a second. But like, how to navigate this current landscape, bro, it's a lot. It's arguably too much happening and like too much access. And oddly enough, I think a lot of Gen Zers are going the opposite direction, which is cool, like in a rebellious way.
They're being anti.
Yeah, and they're like trading in iPhones and stuff for like Motorola Razrs. Like they're legitimately going backwards. And I think that that's a good thing. Like moderate it, like, and that's something that I respect, that like millennials didn't do too much, and it was like a little bit poisonous to them, is that it was a little bit too many opportunities to be vain.
Yeah, they wanted the microwave instead of the oven.
Yeah. And I think what's actually cool about Gen Zs is the fact that they don't want to be like the previous generation, and they're looking at Gen Xers like, oh, they knew what was up, which is really interesting. But like, if you look at like how
they like skip y'all and jump.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about how cyclical like fashion trends are, music trends and stuff like that, you have, you know, the Gen Z kids being, I think, what's that, like 96 to like 05 or something like that, 96 to 06 or something. The cool thing about them is the fact that they're like wanting to be more, I guess,
mysterious.
Like yeah.
They don't want to be out there like that, and if they do show up, it's like, hey, and then I'm out.
Yeah, because like a lot of the students that I interact with are like cool. Like it's like not the same way that people view younger people.
Right.
And that could be, you know, the context of being at a university and already having that in them to want to pursue something more.
Sure.
And, you know, wanting to be successful. Not to say that education is the only way to do that, but it's it's a good first step to at least, you know, find out what it is that you want to do. But yeah, again, to put a short answer into a long explanation is just like go backwards a little bit, dig into your own crates, dig into the crates of, you know, previous generations, and find what inspires you out of that, and don't, like, try your hardest not to be like someone else. Like, try your hardest to be as individual as possible. And the irony in that is that a lot of times
it's not as hard as they think it is.
It's not as hard, because a lot of times people will be like, oh no, I have to go super far to be an individual, and then you still end up looking like everybody else.
Facts.
Because everybody else is trying to be super individual. It's like, no, like,
you got the only fingerprint on the end of your on your finger.
Yeah,
you're the only one. Be that.
Bingo. Be proud of your heritage. Be proud of, like, you know, even if there are scars there, like, recognize that they're healed.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, recognize that those wounds are now healed.
That's huge.
And then be proud of that. So
that's huge.
That would be that. But the answer that I had, to take a few steps back, I was gonna ask a question to an older generation.
Okay.
Like, older generations plural. What do you think is the main thing that is missed in the intergenerational conversations? Like, what do you think the older generation should do when, you know, dealing with younger people?
Easy. Me and your mom talk about this a lot. Y'all wasn't perfect. Y'all made mistakes.
Yeah.
Y'all lied. Y'all stole.
Yeah.
Don't make and that's a question, right? When you made us feel y'all were perfect, and then we weren't, and then we found out that you weren't either, we had resentment.
Yeah.
It made us look like, wow, you know what I mean? Or you told us something about, you know, a parent, right?
Yeah.
You know, and you would go, that was you this whole time. You know what I mean? I think that's what's missing is them actually telling us. And again, it's generational, right? And I'm not going at my elders, but a lot of them didn't tell us, right? But that they weren't perfect, and they never they never had to say, I'm not perfect. Yeah. But when you got in trouble, they made it seem like that was the worst thing that you could ever have done. I would have never done that. And you're sitting there going, You did worse. I found out. Big Mama told me, right?
Yeah.
So you go. So I think that's a big piece where it's like, wow, you could have saved me about 4 years in high school. Yeah. You could have saved me 6 months of anguish. You could have saved me, you know, my formative years of thinking that, you know, of the way that I was thinking. And it was also you're going to be okay. Yeah. Without telling me how I was going to be okay. Yeah. That's something that I had to learn, right? This relationship, as in, it was like, okay, wait, I had to stop and realize, confession moment, right? This is where the confession comes in. It's like confessions of a dad. I'm not raising myself. Yeah. Yeah. I started trying to raise you in the mistakes that I made and going, and when I told you that, I think I remember telling you that, 16, 17 years old, I had to apologize. Yeah. That's a big piece that they never did. Yeah. They never apologized. Yeah. Well, if I hurt your feelings, wow, I'm sorry. Did I? Like, and you're going, I just told you did, right? And well, I didn't mean to. And you go, but that's not an apology, so to speak. Right. But we got really good at, me and your mom, we got really good at saying, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, dang, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, your brothers, it was the same thing. Being able to tell your child that you're sorry, that it was just like, I messed that up. Let's fix that, right? And I believe that's what makes us so unique as a family, right? Is because we didn't try the same formula that they had, right? I have family members that tried the same formula, and their children are turning out just like them. Their trajectory is absolutely the exact same way, right? Without naming anybody, but I can see that it's like, you're just like him, you're just like her. Wow, right? Because you can't say I'm sorry. You won't tell them the truth about yourself and the mistakes that you made. Me and mom told you some stuff by the time you was 18 that you were just like, I wouldn't need to know. Yeah. But we're just like, no, but it's just like, these are the pitfalls.
You're gonna hear it all, yeah.
Yeah, these are the pitfalls, as did your older brothers. But with that, the overarching piece of that is that, why didn't y'all tell us? You know what I mean? It's just like, tell us the truth, because their parents did tell them the truth. But they told them, you know, coming off of having so much pride coming out of slavery, right, into, you know, the boomer generation, right, that it was, you know, get this money, right, you know, do this, do that, the 401ks, the retirements, the pensions, you know, now we're integrated, right, now we're in the greater society, that it was just like my generation, you know what I mean, it was college, go to school, right?
Yeah.
And if you didn't, even within the greater society, made you feel like,
you're less
wow,
than.
you didn't go to college, right? No, I didn't. You know what I mean? So you look at that and you go, that's one of those things too, to where you're just like, okay, so you mean to tell me that there's no value in being a barber? You mean to tell me there's no value in being a mechanic? There's no value in being a plumber, a roofer, or whatever the case may be, right? And let's fast forward now, right? We literally don't have any of those trades anymore. We literally need those trades now, right? So with that, I think that's the greatest detriment that the older generation did to us, to where it was like, you know, they didn't give us the, man, and I don't want to say the soul, but they didn't give us, it was a main ingredient. It's like missing the salt or the black pepper or the seasoning salt within your favorite dish, to where you're like, it's edible, I'm gonna eat it, it made me full, but it was like something's missing.
Yeah.
And then when you get older and you give it to your kids, and I look at y'all and I go, that's just right.
Yeah.
And y'all feel it.
Yeah.
And y'all can go, no, I'm good. You know what I mean? You're a complete person. You know what I mean? When you can understand the people behind you weren't perfect, but they actually tried to give you something tangible. So, like I said, man, for me, this, you know, man, 74-98 is just like, y'all, I don't think y'all understand what's happening before you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is greatness before you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It really
Name
is.
ain't got to be in lights, but we know what stock we come from, and we can actually admit to it. You know what I mean?
That's
and
facts.
to say this is the ladder. You know what I mean?
That's facts,
so again,
man.
when you start looking at legacy again, and it was like, you know, lastly, on that same vein, to where it was just like, we were taught, don't embarrass me. You know what I mean? You know, I know you out there doing this, that, and the third, but just don't embarrass the family. But so for that one piece, that it's just like when you rewind back and you go, you know, you could have saved us, you know, a lot of time and energy. But for the generation behind us, that last piece just would have been, if you just given me the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To make the mistakes and to go, you know, make me feel like that was just kind of the end of the world. And it didn't always happen like that. I mean, I grew up in a very loving family, you know what I mean, with my brothers and my sisters and my parents. But in the grand scheme of that, that's kind of how we evolved as a family, to the point where it's just like we can be honest with each other. And to have one of your sons come home and actually tell you the truth of what they did last night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can see it.
Yeah.
Because you read like a book sometimes, right? And you would even just be like, can I talk to y'all real quick? And then you would tell the truth, right? We would go, dang it, why'd you do that, right?
Yeah.
And then what do? We build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you get to a well-rounded child. You know what I mean? That's how you become a well-rounded dad. That's how you become a well-rounded mother.
Well-rounded is not easy.
It's not
say,
easy.
Man.
It's not easy at all.
It is a
Not
challenge.
easy at all. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to sound all extra. I'm just gonna stop. That's how you become a great dad, a great mom, and a great child to your family.
Yeah.
Is by actually giving them the opportunity to grow. It's just like, you know, let me grow, and just being able to say I'm sorry and go, I got that wrong. And a lot of people won't rebel.
Yeah.
Rebellion stops when you're honest. Rebellion stops when you tell your child, or you can be honest with them. I don't have to rebel. I'm rebelling because you said I thought you were perfect, so I'm gonna rebel.
Yeah. I'm rebelling against perfection. Yeah.
And it's just like, no, tell me you made those mistakes.
Right.
You know. So I think that's a great place to understand what 74 and the 98 actually means to me. And what it means to me is growth. It means intergenerational breaking curses, becoming becoming a man, becoming friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, literally, like best friends. Like, and it's like,
that's a fact.
And that respect is still there to the degree where it's like, we understand, you know, I'm your dad, I know you're my son. But to see someone actually do something that you would do, it's more gratifying as a dad to go, huh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again,
right way, yeah.
and again, some people just go, oh, well, you know, you didn't have anything to do with that. That's a personality trait, or they saw this or they saw that. And it's just like, no, parents actually do get to take credit for the child that you raise.
Yeah.
Because if you can take credit for the bad, if people have to take credit for the bad, you can take credit for the good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Again, I can take credit for being a good husband. You know what I mean? I can take good credit for having good credit.
Hey, a
bar.
A bar.
You know what I mean? Didn't nobody give me that. You know what I mean? And again, so like I said, I don't have a college degree, but I got great credit. I'm just kidding.
That's all you need.
It's all you need in this world.
That's
in America, all you need is credit.
Yeah.
Great credit. Nice. I got street cred and I got bank cred.
We can close with that.
Man.
We can close with that, man.
Come on, man.
But yeah, this is a great.
This is where you
pilot.
cute. Holla if you're here, man.
Yeah. Right now, you just walk away.
Yep.
I'll handle the rest. But man, this was dope.
This is good,
and this is gonna be dope. However, often we release, I'd say probably monthly to start.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but shoot. We doing it. We finally did it.
We finally did it. So we got it down in the bag, and
technical difficulties as expected.
Oh, of course.
I said it was a rough draft, so it's not gonna be perfect.
No, and that's actually what it's called, rough draft.
Yeah,
you know what I mean 74-98 rough draft.
Bingo.
You know what I mean?
Bingo.
Go Nuggets.
Hey, yes sir. But yeah, man, this was great.
This is always good.
It was great. We're gonna close with gratitude as always.
Gratitude.
I'm grateful for you, man.
I'm grateful for you. We're grateful to you as the listener, listening to the rough draft. And as I'm going to close out on every single one, your greatest help, your greatest hand up, your greatest hand out is at the end of your own wrist.
Bars.
You are the person that can change your life with your own two hands. You can build and destroy with just these two hands.
Bars.
Be a builder.
Yes, sir. Cool. That's a wrap.